In the 8 months since President Joe Biden took office, many black voters who helped him into the White House say they're not feeling the love. Last week, his George Floyd Justice in Policing Act fizzled in Congress. He promised we'd get it. Criminal justice reform being a major issue for our community. So where is the return on black voter investment? BNC's Ansar Hassan reports.
As the summer officially comes to an end, the city of Oakland hit a milestone, its 100th homicide of the year, one of the deadliest in more than a decade. Its victims, mostly black men.
And I think it's beyond just the numbers. These are 100 of our community members, people who have connections to families. Their legacy lives on. Pain lives on in our community.
While local leaders and activists struggle to curb the violence, Oakland Police Chief LeRonne Armstrong is seeking federal assistance, especially funding to help with violence reduction.
I know that the president has been allocating funding to support those type of evidence-based strategies.
When it comes to black communities, such as in Oakland, President Biden promised a lot. A key message during the campaign was lift every voice, the Biden plan for Black America. There were 6 main points: closing racial, wealth, and income gaps, tackling racial inequity in education, investments in health care, protecting voter rights, environmental justice, and strengthening America's commitment to justice. But 8 months into his presidency, many are calling on the president to deliver.
Lawmakers and the Biden administration sort of have forgotten about that, forgotten about the promises made, forgotten about the outcry and the demands for justice.
Kara Gotch is the deputy director of the Sentencing Project, a national criminal justice research and advocacy organization in D.C. She says the heavy burden of the criminal legal system falls on African Americans. Following the death of George Floyd, there was momentum and consensus for change. She says the black community has to hold the president to his word.
The president does have a bully pulpit. He should be going out and talking about these issues on a regular basis. I'm not hearing that from him. I'm interested in hearing how he can use his executive authority to prioritize changes. You can never underestimate the power of the president.
Remember, I said it's going to take me a year to deliver everything I'm looking at here. That's number one.
President Biden spoke Friday morning, but didn't address voting rights or the failure to pass the George Floyd police reform bill earlier this week.
Joe Biden owes quite a bit to the black community and the black voters. And he made promises, not just to George Floyd's family, but to the black community at large. And we expect that he's going to follow through on those.
Dr. Sean Fletcher is a professor at San Jose State University. He says the president should be given time to get his agenda passed. But he says the president knew the obstacles he would face on those promises. He says police reform is the big issue, but adds black voters expect to see progress on investment in infrastructure, economic stimulus, and social and health programs.
I am very heartened and encouraged by the diversity within his administration, but ultimately there's going to have to be some substance behind many of the different promises that we've been told over the last several months. That is something that ultimately he's going to have to make headway on without excuse.
In San Francisco, I'm Ansar Hassan for Start Your Day.
Yeah, what Dr. Fletcher, I believe his name is the same. Muscle. Where's the muscle? And we're not so naive that we're saying that because you become president, you can go it alone. But there is a disconnect. Even with his incredibly diverse cabinet and administration, there's a disconnect. Haiti, the migrants, what we witnessed, and his relative silence on the matter is part of that. Constantly, seemingly, I don't know about what goes on behind closed doors, Mike, but praising Senator Joe Manchin. He'll come around, my good friend, this in West Virginia, Senator Manchin, my good friend. He's not coming around because it's not an urgent issue for him, okay? And I don't care how diverse. Senator Manchin's not coming around because of what he views, and rightly so, as his constituency. He's on an island as a Democrat down there. But I don't care. Black people have waited long enough. So yes, we should give him time, the president. but I'm not happy with some of his responses: voter suppression, police reform, Haiti migrants, Haitian migrants.
Yep. Hey, we're going to work on the wealth gap. Might be working on that a little bit. Education, HBCUs, I'll give them that. But
Boy, our list is still so long.
President Biden was really put into office because of the Black Lives Matter movement, police brutality, police reform. That was one of the bigger issues. And he promised black people was going to do something about it. And oh, by the way, here's the thing. He just came out and said, oh, it's going to take a year for me to. Then stop giving yourself deadlines. Stop saying we're going to have this done by the year anniversary of George Floyd, May 25th. We're saying that. And then you tell the family of George Floyd, hey, be patient, it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, Sharon, if this does not happen, if that does not get passed by the midterm, first of all, they're going to lose Congress. They're going to lose the House. They're going to lose Senate. And eventually, they're going to lose the White House, too. Because black people are not going to come out and vote like they did for them in 2020. They're not. Biden needs a little, and I hate to say it, but he needs just a smidge of Trump in him. And you know what I'm talking about when it comes to that.
Yeah.
When it comes to like people like Joe
Ruthless.
Manchin, when it comes to people like Kristen Sinema, you need to be like, hey, I'm going to call you out.
Target
You're
him.
going to need something
Target
in
him.
West Virginia. We're not going to give it to you. So unless you can do this for us and unite to get rid of this filibuster, because what's used to having the House, the Senate, and the White House if you can't get anything done? Because the other side is not going to help you. They've already proven that. They don't want to help you. They want to get rid of you. They're doing everything they can to make sure you fail, even if it's at the detriment of this country. So stop being nice. Be a bully. Have a little Trump in you and start calling some of these people out to get what you need done. Bottom line.
Don't we deserve a bully on behalf of black people after all of these centuries? Don't we deserve a bully on behalf of black people instead of negotiating for basic rights? It's goofy at this point. And you're absolutely right. What good does having the White House, the Senate, the House? Georgia was turned blue. A Jewish man and a black preacher are now in the United States Senate. Can you believe it? So much work, such a heavy lift. What good is it if you're not going to ram it through for once, okay?
Yeah.
If we don't stop this bleeding, we may as well, and we might very well end up back in a time where we're begging not to be 3/5 of a human being. Okay? I don't want to hear about if things have changed, how far we've come.
If the Trump Republicans, the Trump Republicans get control of the White House, the Senate and the House, guess what? You're going back to those days. That's what's happening. You best believe it. They're going to ram everything through. You're talking about, oh, they care about the filibuster now? They won't give a you know what about that filibuster. So stop playing nice with these people. Stop.
Act like
because
you
they
can't
don't
see
want to
it.
help you.
You see it. We
They're not
all
reaching
see
across the aisle. It's not happening. So I don't. They see it. They understand it, but they still want to play nice, and I don't understand why. Because you're not going to have your job for much longer.
They reach across the aisle, knock the papers off your desk. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Hit
I don't know
the
what
stuff
else
off your desk. That's what they're doing.
But they see that too, Sharon. I don't understand why they if they see that and we know that, why are they still doing what they're doing? And the Democrats are so. The one thing I can say about the Trump Republicans is that they stick together. Oh my gosh, it could be something terrible. They will stick. We're gonna stick on you. I need you. You no come in. What are they divided on? Republicans really. It's only maybe 2 Republicans out of everybody in that in Congress and the
look at
Senate
them.
that might be
one lost
step
her
out.
position.
Cheney, and they will exile them. They exile them. When it comes to the Democrats, you got the liberals, the moderates, you got the in between.
Progressive.
You got so much division. Progressive is so divided that they can't come together to agree on anything. And that is the issue with getting things done in Washington right now when it comes to the Democrats and their agenda, because they can't stick together. I hate to say it, sometimes it's almost like and don't take it the wrong way. Sometimes we as black people
No.
don't stick together when it comes to certain things. We don't
You know,
stick
I hate
together.
that. I hate it when you say that.
Well,
I hate that.
but you hate when I say it. But sometimes, is it true? Is there a semblance of truth there? And that is the problem. Sometimes we have to stick. We for the overall agenda. No matter how you do it, no matter how somebody else does it, we have to come together for the better good to make sure
Ram
that
it
we
through.
get what we want. Ram it through.
We just ram
No
it
matter
right
how
through.
it gets done, we got to get it done and stop
Gotta get it
dividing
done.
each other. Bottom line.